A week before the fight, you said something really powerful to me. You said that the person you've become now is more important, that the win is more important than the title.
I think, like, for myself, like winning a WBC title, whether it was state, international or world title, that was just a goal that I'd set myself in the early stages of when I started fighting. So I had a lot of pressure on myself to get that title. And I think after the first fight, like having the draw and just being like honestly super deflated, like it was a big thing for me to get the draw. Like I was like, fuck, you know, like trying to find that motivation to go and do all that again.
Guys, we're here on the Fighters Mindset podcast with Buddy, WBC State Champion and aspiring soon to be Australian and world champion, is one of the clients that I work one-on-one with. And we're looking forward to getting deep into the chat about his own mindset, struggles, and what we've developed with him. So, Buddy, introduce yourself, share your background about fighting, how you got into it, and where we're at now.
Yeah, so my name's Buddy. I started in martial arts when I was about 7 years old. My pop and my parents got me into it. My pop was an instructor in Hapkido, which is obviously a very different form of martial art to Muay Thai, but that was my first introduction. I think I did that for about almost 10 years. And then when I was about 15 or 16, I gave it up, sort of just was a teenager, was surfing, doing different things. And then I think I was about 20, it was just before my 21st birthday when I found Muay Thai. I started in MMA, that was how I first got into it. And then I found Muay Thai through the MMA gym. And then, it was just made the transition over to Third Eye Muay Thai. And I've been with those guys now for about 6-7 years.
How many fights you had now?
About 25, yeah.
Record?
I think it's 16 wins, 6 losses, 2 draws, and a no contest.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And you've had one draw for your state title.
Yeah.
And the rematch was a win as well.
Yeah.
So take us back to your first state title attempt before we actually started working with each other.
Yeah.
How were you feeling going into that fight? What was happening? How did it affect your fight night?
At the time, I thought I was fine. Like, I thought everything was good. I felt like there was no issues going into the fight, but I just had so much stuff going on in my personal life, just so many things happening that was just keeping me from focusing on the fight. And it really obviously showed in the performance. Like, it really wasn't a good performance the first time around from myself. And yeah, like I said, I thought I was good, but yeah, once I got in the ring, it showed that there was a lot of shit going on that didn't need to be going on. So
did you feel it affecting your training, your fight week, the fight day?
Again, like, sort of not really. Like, when I look back on it now, like, I can understand how distracted I was and how not focused I was. But yeah, at the time, like, I really didn't think that there was any issues. So yeah, it's a big wake up call.
Yeah, I think once you start doing the mindset training and you start becoming aware of what's going on, you can actually go back and reflect and go on. If I was thinking the way I am now back then, I would have seen what a massive difference it made.
Getting the tools to make sure that doesn't happen again. That's a massive part of it.
After that fight, what made you decide to work on your mindset?
Like, my coach Shay, he was sort of the person that really pushed for it. Like, I didn't really see a whole lot of issues, but he obviously had spoken to you about the business side of it, and then he sort of said to me, he was like, I really think that you should talk to this guy. It's super important. Like, I'd heard Pinky speak about it too, but again, I just think being like a male, like a young male, you just sort of, you're like, no, I'm all right. And then he pushed me towards it and tried it, and then I didn't realize how much I needed it, to be fair.
Look, let's touch base on that, because being a man, being at the peak, being in the Muay Thai game, or business owners or whatever else we do, talking about our mental health, there's a real stigma attached to it, especially in the fight game.
Yeah.
Talk me through how you were thinking you shouldn't talk about the fight, your mental aspect, before you actually worked with me. Yeah,
I think like I've always been a person that's been so big on people like talking about their mental health and leaning on people, and for me, like I'm just as guilty to not do it. So yeah, I think I just I sort of just again, didn't really think I needed it. And then, yeah, once I sort of started speaking to you about it and just the way that you would bring things out of me and talk to me about it, it's just, yeah, it's one of those things that you don't really realize how much you need it until you actually start using it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think nowadays there's such a stigma for us as the leaders and at the top to make sure we look that invincible, unbreakable, unpenetrable kind of
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
Whereas the truth of the matter is that the top is where the most pressure is.
Yeah.
And you need to learn, like you said, have those tools to plug in to actually change it.
Yeah, and I think like I think it's such a beautiful thing. Like as fighters, we're perceived by people as to be a certain way, that, you know, like that fighters are tough, they don't speak about their feelings. And I think when you can have both, like when you can be a fighter but then also be like a vulnerable person that can speak about their emotions, and I think it's a big thing for other people, like for you to be vulnerable as a fighter, especially at a certain level. I think like there's a lot of beauty in that.
Yeah, 100%. I think it really gets sidestepped that to be strong is to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
If you're just pushing through, like everyone knows it as well. And I don't think there's any fighter in the world that goes into a fight in the back room and isn't scared.
Yeah.
Like if you're not scared, you're talking shit.
If you embrace that, like that, if you embrace your emotions and you can speak about your emotions and you can like accept that, especially that you're gonna be scared and you're gonna be nervous, you can use that to your advantage. Like that's a massive thing. I think the people that push that away and they don't want to accept that, they're the ones that are going to fall off the tracks. If you accept it and you use that to your advantage, that's where the magic happens.
Huge. And that's the strength in vulnerability, which I think needs to get redefined into this masculine mindset.
Yeah.
That perfectly what you said, if you can then use your fear, your nerves, your emotions, and tap into that and be open about it, being vulnerable becomes a strength.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to hide that you're not that person, then that's what's really going to disadvantage you.
It just makes you more anxious. When you can speak about it, when you actually speak about it, like the actual fact of it coming out of your mouth and the words coming out, you can use that to your advantage. The more you keep it inside, it just works as a disadvantage for you.
Massively. Look, one of the things we worked on, and this is one of the biggest realizations that I think you had, was working on your why. Talk me through how it felt after that state title fight, working with me the week before the fight, the person you were developing through this time.
Yeah, I think I realized, like, once I started working with you, that I just lost the spark. Like I'd been plateauing for a long time. I think, like, obviously getting better in the physical sense of getting better at Muay Thai, but my mental state, like, I think I was just going through the motions a lot. It was just become a lot more of a chore, I think, for me. And once I started working with you and really starting to rethink about that why, like what you said to me about zooming out and looking at where you want to be, not just looking at where you want to be in 4 or 5 years, but also looking back at where you came from, and looking at the big picture. And I think that was what really probably sparked really like refueled the fire for me, because I remembered why I'm doing this sport. Like this sport, fighting, like it makes me a better person. It really does. Like it gives you a focus, it gives you goals, it gives you a purpose. And I want to obviously everyone wants to be financially stable. Like I want to be a successful business owner. I want to be a world champion. Like, you know, but if you don't have the ability to zoom out and see this as your why, and you're just focused on this small little bubble, it is very easy to lose that motivation and lose that fire.
Yeah, it's a huge factor. Like regaining that focus, that hunger, that ability, all comes from determining that why.
Yeah.
Being proud of where you started and how far you've come is what a lot of people lack.
Yeah.
But then also zooming out and seeing where you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Making the best version of yourself is so important.
Yeah.
The rematch. So the first time you fought Mark, you guys had a draw. And that was when you had a lot of external factors. You fought, 6 months afterwards?
Yeah, it would have been I went to Thailand and had a fight in the interim. But yeah, I think it was about 5 or 6 months apart. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people got to realize 6 months of training after 7, 8 years of training in 25 fights, it's like a 1% incremental mark change. What we really did differently was plugging that mindset. Yeah. And a week before the fight, you said something really powerful to me. You said that the person you've become now is more important than the win, is more important than the title. Like, obviously, once you get your hands on them, you're going to tear them apart. But being who you were that week was the best achievement.
Yeah.
Talk me through that.
I think, like, for myself, like winning a WBC title, whether it was state, international, or world title, that was just a goal that I'd set myself in the early stages of when I started fighting. So I had a lot of pressure on myself to get that title. And I think after the first fight, like having the draw and just being like honestly super deflated, like it was a big thing for me to get the draw. Like I was like, fuck, you know, like trying to find that motivation to go and do all that again. And then I think, yeah, like working with you and just the way that the things that we spoke about and stuff, it was like through all of that and the lead up to the fight, the person that I became in that time, without it even realizing that it was happening, and just, yeah, leveling up as a person, as a man, like even just outside of Muay Thai, as a friend, as a family member, just, I could just feel myself really, really developing as a person. And then it was almost like that WBC title almost didn't become as important. And it was just like I really had the ability to zoom out and look at the person that I'd become through that process. And it was just like, that was what I was most proud of. And I think realizing too that you have to become that person to be able to win a title like that. It's like you don't win the title and then become that person. You have to become that person to be able to win that title. So without even realizing it too, it was like I pretty much felt unstoppable that week, but just because of the person that I became. And yeah, in the end, like without it happening, that was what became the most important thing to me. And that forms into other areas of your life as well, not just fighting. Like when you form and you develop and you level up as a person, yeah, that's the stuff that matters most.
Yeah, amazing. Very well said. And it's one of the biggest focuses we have is to embody that champion's mindset. So it's not just even about training, the way you wake up, get out of bed, show up during the day, show up at work. Who you become embodies that personality to then really make you believe in who you are.
Yeah, and I think too, like when you become that person and you're proud of that person, when you go out and do what I did and you win a title like that, it just makes it feel even better because you've put so much work in to be that person and become that person. That title and that win is just the cherry on top. And it's like you already feel amazing because of where you've gotten to, but then that just, you know, it's hard to beat that feeling.
Yeah, because it kind of cements I knew I was going to get it. Like, I'm that person now. The evidence backs it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too, when you do something like that, like becoming that person in that whole scenario of, you know, when you've got stuff going on in your personal life and you still turn up every day and you do what you have to do to become that person, when you do that and you get to a certain point and you realize what you've done, like that transitions into all other areas of life too. And you sort of feel like if you've got other stuff going on and you can still do that, there's not really a goal that you can set yourself in life that you can't achieve if you can do that.
And that's the whole concept of the fighter's mindset.
Yeah.
Developing the fighter's mindset and embodying that championship mindset is what then extrapolates out into the rest of your life, your future, and everyone around you benefits.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you become a better person for your friends, your family, like, you know, everyone around you benefits from that when you become a better person.
So walk us through the fight itself. Like, first of all, the week leading into the fight, the weigh-in, the fight day, the back room, that week which usually cripples even the best. How did you feel? Because we've visualized that last 24 hours a lot in your mental prep, and a lot of the performance style visualization that I did with you was being in that back room 100 times before you stepped into that back room. Talk me through that.
Like I was still very nervous, as you always are. Like there's never a fight. I don't think I've ever had a fight where I haven't been nervous, but I think like I was just so prepared and I was so ready for that fight that it was, especially at the start of the week, like I just wanted the weekend to get there, but I was just very much trying to just enjoy the week for what it was, because I was so happy to be where I was that I was really just trying to soak up the whole thing. Yeah, like the whole week was just, the prep couldn't have really gone much better, to be fair. And then on the day, like when we're out the back, I was just so keen to get out there. Like I said, I was still nervous, but just everything that we'd worked on, like mentally, everything that I'd done physically in here and outside of the gym, it was just like I ticked all the boxes. So it was just like win, lose or draw. I was like, I knew how, like I was just so ready and I was just so eager to get in there. Yeah.
Talk me through the fight from round one all the way through to when you knew you had him.
So round one was a bit shaky because like he really come out like all guns blazing. Like I didn't expect that. Like given the way the first fight played out, I really didn't expect that. So it sort of caught me off guard a little bit, but the stuff that I'd worked on with yourself and like Shay, like he obviously, I've been with him for so long now, so he knows exactly what he's got to say and what he's got to do in between rounds to kick me into gear. So yeah, pretty much from round 2 onwards, I just sort of took over. Like round 2 was a bit more 50-50, but by the time it got to round 3, like the end of round 3, he was just like, I hit him with a few elbows in round 3 that opened him up, and I could just see and feel that it just completely swung in my favor by that stage. So.
And there's one real pinnacle point in the fight where at the end of the break of the 3rd round, you'd gotten the cornerman to leave, the stool to re, and you were just pacing back and forth. Like you were like a bull just waiting to charge.
Yeah. Like I think for myself as a fighter, like fighting's made me like a very calm sort of person. So sometimes it takes me a bit to really get, like kick into that aggressive sort of gear. But yeah, once I find it like in the ring, like, but by then it had really kicked in. Then in round 3, the start of round 4, I could just see how defeated he was, and like I just felt amazing. So I was just itching to get the round going, because I knew once that round started, it was going to be either I didn't expect to finish him, but I knew it was going to be a long 6 minutes for him if it didn't get waved off.
Yeah, because absolutely a lot of what we worked in your performance visualization wasn't about the shot or the knockout or even necessarily the win. It was about getting him and drowning him the whole way through.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's always been a big thing for me too. Like my cardio has always been pretty good in that sense, from even in the early amateurs. So yeah, like I've never really probably sparked people with that one shot. It's more just drowning them. And yeah, we knew, like having that in my head too. I think it's being prepared for a hard 5 rounds. Like obviously getting the knockout is good, but being prepared for that hard 5 rounds and drowning someone, when you're prepared for that, and then you better that and you get the knockout, like it's just, yeah, that feeling, not expecting it and having that feeling, like, fuck man, it's pretty hard to describe what it felt like in that moment. It still sometimes doesn't really feel like it happened.
Yeah, you're going to be playing that moment, I think, many times in the future.
Yeah.
Look, I want to touch base also on just briefly that comment of drowning someone, because the mental and the physical is such an important element there. Because people have to realize if you want to drown someone, you've got to physically and mentally prepare to drown with them.
Yeah.
You've just got to swim longer than they do.
Yeah.
Like you've got to go into that deep waters.
That's what I think's so special about this sport, is like it doesn't matter what you say or what you do before the fight. Who you are as a person and your true character will come out in that ring. It's like if you can speak to people, you can say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If you're not mentally strong enough and you haven't done the work to be able to do that, it doesn't matter what you say, you will get exposed when you're in the ring. Like if you physically prepare yourself to go a long, hard 5 rounds with someone like that, and you say it and you actually prepared for it, you will do it. But if you haven't done the work mentally and physically, more so mentally, I think, than anything else, it doesn't matter what you say, you will get exposed.
Yeah, you can't hide from anyone in that ring.
It's the one place, I feel like it's the one sport where you really can't lean on anyone else. Like once you step over those ropes, it is you and you only, and who you are as a person will get exposed very quickly.
100%. So if you could go and tell fighters currently that are struggling with mental issues, self-doubt, mental barriers, and the version of you before you started working with me who was also struggling with those same things, what would you say to them?
I think the biggest thing is just be vulnerable. Like, I think as fighters, especially when we get to a certain level, physically we're all pretty on par. Like everybody has their different styles, but everybody's normally they're pretty good physically, but mentally, like be vulnerable. Like use the people around you that you know that you can lean on. Like, lean on them for support. Like, be vulnerable, open up, and like talk about stuff. Like I said before, like, even I'm bad for it. Like, I will be the person that says that, and then sometimes I feel like I struggle to be that person, because I think as just not just as fighters but as people, like, we don't want to be vulnerable because we feel like, for me, I feel like sometimes I'm dumping my issues onto somebody. But when someone comes to me with an issue, like a problem or something they want to talk about, I'm all for talking to people and letting them be vulnerable. So if you've got a coach or anyone in your life that knows that you know you can be vulnerable with them, do it. Like, use it to your advantage. And I think it's the same with coaches and fighters. Like, you know each other so well. As a coach, if you see that your fighter needs to speak about stuff or they need to be vulnerable, like, push for it. Like, encourage them to be that person, because, yeah, like you said before, if your mental's not on, this sport will expose you very quickly. Like, that's
100%.
the biggest piece of advice that I can give, is be vulnerable, because in the end, it benefits you more than anything else.
Absolutely. And finding strength in that vulnerability is such a powerful element.
Yeah. Like I said before, the more vulnerable you are and the more you accept certain things and your emotions and stuff, you will use it to your advantage in the end. The more you keep it inside, the more you hold it inside, it can destroy you if you don't talk about it.
Buddy, on that final note, where can they find you?
Instagram's what I use the most, so it's buddy.hanlon. I don't really use much else, but yeah, that's where you'll see everything. So
They'll get in and watch the journey to world champion.
yeah, that's it.
Legend, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.